Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to the May 8, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. If you haven't had a chance to sign in outside, there is a spot to do so. We appreciate that. And with that, Brett, will you call the roll?
Earl Carpenter.
Present.
Amanda Cope.
Here.
Josh Fletcher. Dana King.
Present.
Jeff Martin.
Here.
Jerry McDermott. Here. Brant Moore.
Here.
Jeff Peters. Susan Ralston. Steve White. Here. Nick Sutton.
Here.
Austin Boudreau.
Present. Okay, thank you. We do have a quorum this evening, so that is good. You've had a chance to review the minutes from the April 10th meeting. We will take a motion on those minutes.
The minutes be approved as noted.
There is a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion has passed for the minutes. We have no old business tonight, so we'll move forward with new business and open the public hearing. The way that the meeting will work is that the planning staff will read a staff report for each of the petitions this evening. Then the board will, if they have any questions, the staff regarding these petitions. And after that's completed, the petitioner, if present and would like to speak, is welcome to do so. The staff may have questions and the board for the petitioner. And after that is completed, we will open up the meeting to public comment. And we will close that. We will see if there's any outside correspondence, further discussion. Then we will do a finding of fact for the motions this evening and then have a motion. So that's kind of the order of which things will go. And we will move to our first item of business tonight, Brett. Okay.
The first staff report for this evening is going to be for Cameron Education and Innovation Facility Addition, seeking development plan approval. Applicant owner is Cameron Memorial Community Hospital, Angie Logan. Locations at 416 East Maumee Street. Current zoning is IS institutional. Hearing date is today's date, May 8th. Legal notices appeared in the Herald Republican on April 28th. 58 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent notice by certificate of mailing on April 25th. Applicable code provisions is Title 18 of the Unified Development Ordinance, Indiana Code Development Plan 36-7-4-1400 series. The project's not located within the floodplain, and staff's recommendation is of conditional approval. Cameron Memorial Community Hospital is requesting to expand their facilities by constructing a 37,722 square foot addition on the south side of the primary structure. The primary structure is situated on 13.38 acre parcel encompassed by East Maumee, East South Street, South Washington, and South John Street. The property includes the hospital, medical offices, cancer center, and associated parking and walking ways. The addition will extend a portion of the south facade near South and John Street. The addition will be nestled into the existing hill and consist of 3 stories with a new drop-off drive and additional ADA parking spaces. The proposed addition will extend the southern facade of the primary structure, being placed in the grassy area outlined in red. The addition will include a new auditorium, multiple classrooms, simulation rooms, lab rooms, offices, and additional shell space to support future growth. Additionally, the exterior finishes of the addition will match the current finished materials. Next, we move into a couple site photos. One is captured from South Street. The addition will be construction into the hillside scene, matching the hospital's existing floor levels. Next, you'll see the addition will be constructed within the hillside. This is from the parking lot looking west. The parking scene here will be removed and a drop-off area will be with accessible parking will be located at the addition's main entrance. Next, we dive into the contextual zoning and land use. As mentioned, this property is zoned IS institutional. To the north, you have traditional residential properties. To the south as well, traditional residential. To the east, traditional residential and the Angola's Parks Department. And to the west, you'll have the Steuben County Sheriff's Office, bank, and other commercial buildings. Looking into the comprehensive plan, the Angola comprehensive plan speaks to several objectives for a project like this. In principle 1, objective 1.5, strongly encourage the redevelopment and underutilized vacant or abandoned structures and lots. Objective 1.7, encourage infill development to direct commercial and residential growth inside the corporate limits. And further, principle 2, objective 2.4, continue to support the initiatives of Trine University as a valued and critical community partner. Next, there is a list of plan review that are outstanding comments. We're still waiting for a couple of them comments to come back. The gentleman here this evening did bring some paperwork for staff to review. You can look over them. Today, as of today's date, there's been 0 public input that staff has received into our office. And staff conclusion and recommendation. In conclusion, staff is encouraged to see the expansion is supportive of the request. The expansion of Cameron Memorial Community Hospital and their partnership with Trine University further ensures their desire to bring a state-of-the-art facility and equipment to our community to boost recruitment and growth and retain healthcare professionals. Additionally, the property will accommodate the addition and embraces Angola's comprehensive plan objectives within principle 1 and 2. Staff requests a condition include that all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed prior to permits being issued.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions?
Is there enough parking for this addition, or will that have to be some added, or?
So they are adding a few throughout there. There is no permanent parking proposed.
So is there enough parking then for this
Based
addition
off
and what
of
they
the
have?
overall, not just looking at the addition, yes, they
Okay.
hit the thresholds.
Is there any water issues with that retention pond to the east? What is it, southeast down there? It's pretty steep, but can it handle the
Yeah, so
covering?
they've sent in their calculations about what's existing, and there's enough capacity for this addition to go into that pond, which is their intent.
Thank you.
Yes. Is there a walkway between this building and the hospital and a connection
Internally, yes.
internally?
Each floor will match up.
So you can walk from the new building into the hospital?
Yes.
I didn't see that on the plan.
Any other questions?
It's not going to interfere with the drainage and the connection on there to the east. I see it on the drawing here, it looks like it's staying all open.
Yeah, and that's just what I was asking, that it makes the capacity and there would be no redesign or anything. It doesn't sound like it. Any other? Okay, if there's a petitioner that would care to speak, you're welcome to do so. We'd ask that you state your name and address for our minutes.
Evening, my name is Pete Getzik, Getzik Engineering, 407 Airport North Office Park, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46825. I'm here as the site design engineer, representing the design team. So back in the early 2000 teens, we were part of the design team that put together the original hospital expansion. Yeah, this addition was always a plan thing. So at that time, we designed all our utilities to stay clear of this area. The size and location of it shifted slightly from the original concept, but really just filling in something that we thought about 10, 15 years ago. So yeah, the detention basin was designed to handle this. Parking, I believe we're limiting 11 spaces, but replacing it with 6 new spaces. And with this addition, the hospital's exploring what their overall campus parking needs are. And so there's ideas we have that you'll probably see for, well, at least the planning department side on increasing parking out there. So, if you have any.
But even so, that under the current edition, it would still meet the requirements of our city parking for the way it would be completed. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions for the petition? Thank you. I appreciate it. We will open up the meeting to public comment. If there is someone who'd like to speak regarding this issue, you're welcome to do so at this time. Again, we've asked you state your name and your address.
Hello. I'm Amy Biddle. My husband and I own property at 310 East South Street. So this is, we're going to be sitting right in the middle of this expansion, as well as we have the new judicial center going up. I am not opposed to this. I think this is a great thing for our community. My question does involve parking and traffic flow through that street, through East South Street specifically. As it is now, on any given weekday, honestly, Cameron's parking lots are pretty full, which is a good thing for Cameron. That's wonderful that they've got staff and patients coming and going. That causes a lot of parking on the north side of East South Street. That street is not wide enough to do two-way driving as well as parking. It just isn't. So there's all the time there's bottlenecks. We've got the construction of the judicial center right now that's causing some additional slowdowns. There's streets kind of torn up right there. That would be my main concern, and my husband and I have, is what is the plan for handling the traffic flow and parking through there? I just, having worked in the criminal justice system here in Steuben County for over 30 years, I know when that judicial center opens up, that's going to add more traffic. Then you're going to add the addition of this educational wing, which is going to add more students coming and going from the main campus over. So I do see an issue with parking, and I do see an issue with.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Okay, hearing none, we will close that portion. It does raise a good point. I mean, I don't know if do we study from time to time with the streets and whether we park down one side or two, or, you know, I don't know what the protocol is for that.
So from a traffic standpoint, we do traffic studies. We look at speeds, we look at parking, we look at things like that. So that's something on the street that we can monitor and kind of keep track of and maybe restrict on-street parking if that becomes an issue. As far as the amount of parking that she alluded to, that would be more of a Brett or Jennifer on if off-street parking, there's enough to meet this development.
Right. I was just referring to on-street action. I just didn't know what the protocol was when we decide, hey, you've got on both sides, it's tight, does it warrant one side or the other kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah, the city has a traffic commission, which is made up of myself, police officer, street department, council members, that we collectively, if there's an issue or if we get a resident that says, hey, this is unsafe, we would address it, look at it, and come up with a recommendation.
In the 4 years since I've been on council, we've done that at least twice, I think, restricted parking on one side of the street or another. Most recent was there by Fireman's Park.
Well, I think the point is well noted that if it changes down there, I'm sure we'll probably be looking at things like that. Anyone else have any questions? Okay.
The only comment I'd make is that not too long ago, at one of the meetings when they talked about a person in the middle of the street down there going toward the new jail or the jail and such, about the middle of the street. Anyway, he was complaining because to get out of his driveway to back out, cars parked on the other side bothered him. And at this point, I don't see how you're gonna do much about it. But there's gonna be a lot more traffic with the courthouse opening and traffic in and out and the closing of the other street. You're gonna see more. But I would like to make one other comment. I think the hospital owns all of the property behind this lady's property, etc. And my own opinion, looking at the developments that's been going on, probably the hospital is not too far from possibly buying all that property out there and that whole big area back there being gobbled up by the hospital. So that's my comment, but I do see it leaving.
Well, I mean, any of that would be totally speculative on our part, so, and not before us, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to agree with what the lady was talking about and the full parking lot back there. That's where my husband and I usually park, is back in the back parking lot to go in the hospital. And it is usually always full. And so, and that street is narrow, so that is an issue. But the gentleman also said that they were going to consider possibly a need for more parking space. So that is something that they've considered or thought about.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? Hearing none, probably should go to the findings.
Okay. All right, finding the fact. Number one, the development plan is or is not consistent with the City of Angola's comprehensive plan. Development plan is consistent with the City of Angola's comprehensive plan by objectives 1.5, 1.7, and 2.4. Number two, the development plan does or does not cause a hazard or unsafe condition for drivers on the existing or proposed streets or at points of access to perimeter streets. Staff proposes the finding that because that there are no proposed improvements affecting public streets nor improvements to private access drives. Number three, the development plan does or does not cause existing or proposed streets to exceed their capacity or cause traffic congestion. Staff proposes the finding that because the intensity of the existing use is not changing, additional capacity and traffic congestion is not anticipated. Number four, the development plan does or does not dedicate the necessary right-of-way for future expansion of the perimeter roads and indicate in the thoroughfare plan. Staff proposes the finding that because adequate right-of-way already exists, no additional right-of-way is necessary. Number five, the development plan does or does not create a safe environment for pedestrians to safely move about the development and to connect to perimeter pedestrian facilities. Staff proposes the finding that the development does create a safe environment for pedestrian by providing sidewalks connecting to the buildings and an improved drop-off area is proposed next to the main entrance of the addition. Number six, the development plan does or does not arrange buildings and structures appropriately for function and aesthetic appeal. Staff proposes the finding that because the proposed addition will match existing elevations of floors and finished exterior materials will match the current facade.
Agreed.
Number 7, the development plan is or is not compatible with surrounding uses, buildings, and zoning districts, or is designed to effectively and appropriately buffer or transition those uses, buildings, and zoning districts to which it is in conflict.
Yes.
Staff proposes the finding that because the proposed addition will match exterior finishes and meets all developmental standards. As we move into 8 through 12, if it is fine with you combining them all together as we did in the previous meeting.
I have no problem with that as long as no one else does.
Okay. The development plan does or does not satisfy once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed.
Does. We will entertain a motion for this petition, and again, we noted on page 5 with the plan view open items to be mentioned.
I'll make a motion to approve with the condition that all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed prior to the permit being issued.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Steve makes the second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none opposed, the motion has passed. We will go on to our second item of the evening.
Okay.
Yeah, if you like, you sit on your guest. Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, the second item of this evening is parking lot expansion development plan. It's going to be for Bill's Professional Towing. The location's at 2765 West Maumee Street, Angola. Their current zoning is C2, medium to large general commercial district. Hearing date is today's date, May 8th. Notices appeared in the Herald Republican on April 31st. 6 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent certificate of mailing on April 25th. Applicable code is Title 18 of the UDO and Indiana Code Development Plan 36-7-4 1400 series. Staff's recommendation is approval. Bill's Professional Towing and Repair is requesting to expand their parking area by constructing a 9,910 square foot steel slag parking lot. The parking lot expansion will be directly west of the current customer front parking area on the north end of the primary structure. The property is situated on West Maumee Street, US Highway 20, on 4.265 acres of land. The existing improvements on the property include a 20,000 square foot primary structure with maintenance bays, offices, break room, restroom, storage areas. Additionally, the property includes a large gravel pad and asphalt parking area. Previously, in September 2021, the property was platted as Lot 5 encompassed by Block A. That includes a large illegal drain east of the development. During March of 2021, the development received development standard variances to exceed the maximum fence height, fence material, and additionally to allow stone and gravel parking services within the storage area. Lastly, in April 2021, this board and the BZA approved the facility with associated storage yard, parking, landscaping, lighting, and drainage. During the fall of 2022, staff was made aware of additional parking area constructed of millions east of the development within the legal drain. Since then, Bill's Professional Towing and the neighboring developer established an easement and permission from the county surveyor for the area to remain. In the winter of 2022, staff noticed that what was believed to be millings had been brought on site and spread out west of the front parking area. At that time, staff contacted Mr. McClanahan when he advised the expansion was to be just a turnaround area for vehicles. Staff determined this type of improvement required development plan approval and development standard variance. Brings us to present day. At the April 24th, 2023, the Angola Board of Zoning Appeals approved variances for lot coverage and materials to accommodate the proposed expansion. The variances were approved with the conditions that the area north of the milling parking area, 3 evergreens for 80 feet or 5 evergreens for the entire length to be installed. Evenly spaced 3 inches DBH between existing deciduous trees and proposed parking area within 2 months of the Angola Plan Commission approval. Mr. McClanahan emphasized the expansion was not for overnight parking, rather short-term and easy accessibility for larger vehicles and/or trailers to turn around. On May 2nd, 2023, Bill's professional towing and repair staff notified us that they had planted 5 evergreens to the conditions outlined from the BZA meeting and laid additional material in the proposed area. Next, we move into a couple of the images that were shared with the BZA board members. First is going to be the northeast corner looking southwest. Next would be the northwest corner looking southeast towards the primary facility. And then next would be looking directly west for the previous landscaping. In present day, you can see the material spread the full distance and the landscaping of the 5 evergreens planted in between the deciduous trees. Next will be another northeast corner looking southwest, and lastly, northwest corner looking southeast at the storage yard. Looking in the contextual zoning and land use, the state of the property is zone C2. To the north, you have the Terrace Ridge apartments and commercial businesses. South is vacant C2 land and agricultural zoning in the ETJ. To the east, agricultural district, and to the west, a variety of fueling stations, fast food chains, Angola Gardens, hotel, and Interstate 69. The comprehensive plan speaks to objective 1.5, strongly encourage redevelopment of underutilized lots. And objective 1.7, encourage infill development for commercial growth. To this date, our staff has not received any public input from the legal notices being sent. And staff conclusion recommendation is, in conclusion, staff encourages growth and expansion of the current properties. An expansion to the parking area on the property reflects their growth within our community and utilizing their property to its max potential. However, staff is discouraged to see continued advancements of improvements without proper approvals.
Thank you. Does anyone have a question for staff regarding this petition? Since we're kind of doing this after the fact, is there any future work that you guys know that will continue post this discussion, or it's just to get this back or before the horse kind of thing? Okay. Okay. So thank you. Any other questions? If there is a petitioner here who would like to speak, you're welcome to do so now. Please state your name and your address for the minutes.
Bill McClanahan. This is my business here at West Walnut Street. I apologize for finishing this. This all started back in November, 1st of December. It wasn't supposed to get spread all the way to the end of that. Went to the rodeo out in Las Vegas, found out that one of my employees did spread it all the way down, but it wasn't. We still had piles laying there. So with trying graduation last weekend, I went ahead and put the rest of the millings down. It's not finished. The only thing that needs to be done is leveled off yet. And then we're gonna roll it, just compact it so it's nice and solid. But I do apologize for getting the cart ahead of the horse, but I knew with all the people that were gonna be coming to town, I tried to keep it looking good out there. And as far as the trees, we needed to get them in as soon as possible with the rain and stuff coming. And we had booths already lined up to come in and put trees in as soon as we got approved for that. And they had time to do it while it was raining before they started their farm. So that's the only reason we moved ahead. But when we get, if we get the approval tonight, then we'll go ahead and finish leveling it off. the piles of gravel laying out there didn't look real nice. And I didn't want to do any more, and we got our first approval. That's all I've got to say, and I do apologize for.
I thought at the BZA meeting, you were only gonna go halfway. I see.
Well, we
Decided to
originally,
go all the way to the end.
if they said if we went all the way to the end, we could put 5 trees in, and that's what I did. So, and then we'll maintain it. I mean, just like we do our blacktop stuff.
Any other questions for the petitioner?
Thank you for your commitment, the community and the addition out there.
We'll try to be part of this community.
Thank you. Any further questions regarding this petition? Oh, I'm sorry, we need to get ahead of myself. At this time, we'll open the meeting up to public comment. If you'd like to speak regarding this petition, you are welcome to do so now. Hearing or seeing no one, I will close that portion. And again, any further questions on staff or for the board? Okay, then I believe we're ready to read the findings, but thank
I'm
you.
gonna ask one question.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Last year, there was a petition for a property farther to the east, just beyond the lady's property that joined that for apartment complexes and et cetera. The lady that lived right there next to us, she was concerned about drainage and how that would probably handle. But I'm wondering about how they would still handle this parking line, how that may be paved that would cause further water runoff. And my other comment would be with all of this turnaround stonework extended out. We see this today to approve that stonework, but where in the future, maybe they decide they want to pave all of that. Now we've got more runoff to contend with that may create a problem for the development to the east. That would be my comment.
And I agree with those comments. I think just by the fact that the petitioner has come forward, I doubt that he would do that again on public record, that to actually go forward with paving without coming before. The milling actually, it's the way I understand it, it's very pervious and probably drains as good as, a hard surface would. So I would hope, as you would, and per the minutes, that if something like that came forward, we would see an actual application for it.
So the steel slag is pretty impermeable, so it will run off. However, right in this area, there is a drain right through here. It comes to the front rather than going closer to the lady that you're speaking
Oh,
about.
it does, okay.
And that it, Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of splits the back, right? Some of it, a small portion comes this way. Most of it goes-
Eventually, it all goes to the detention pond to the east. That was built when this development, the road and everything was built. So there's adequate storage in that detention pond. And that pond is actually owned and operated by the county. It's a legal drain. So the county surveyor is aware of everything that's been going on and he doesn't have any issues with it. So
I haven't any objection, I'm just questioning what may happen and what.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so yes, sorry, Tina, go ahead.
I'm not up on parking lot surfaces, but what in the world is a steel slag?
It's like limestone that comes out of the steel mill. It basically what it is. It's foundry slag that they use when they cast. But it drains just like pervious. I mean, no water stands on it.
Sounds like what I'm hearing is it probably drains a little slower than stone itself, but it's probably a little less runoff than actual pavement. But again, I'm no expert, so. Any other comments? And yeah, I think we're ready.
Number 1, the development plan is or is not consistent with the City of Angola comprehensive plan.
Yes.
The development plan is consistent with the City of Angola comprehensive plan that it supports redevelopment of underutilized lots and commercial growth. Excuse me. The development plan does or does not cause a hazard or unsafe condition for drivers on the existing or proposed streets or at points of access to perimeter streets. Staff proposes the finding that because the proposed improvements will have no effect.
Agreed.
Number 3, the development plan does or does not cause existing or proposed streets to exceed their capacity or cause traffic congestion. Staff proposes the finding that because the proposed improvements will have no effect.
Agreed.
Number 4, the development plan does or does not dedicate the necessary right-of-way for future expansion of perimeter roads as indicated in the thoroughfare plan. Staff proposes the finding that because adequate right-of-way for this development and neighboring properties already exist, additionally, it is consistent with the future thoroughfare plan map. No additional right-of-way is necessary. Number 5, the development plan does or does not create a safe environment for pedestrians to safely move about the development and connect to the perimeter pedestrian facilities. The development does create a safe environment for pedestrians by its placement connecting to established drives and parking that flow throughout the property. Number 6, the development plan does or does not arrange buildings and structures appropriately for the function and aesthetic feel. Staff proposes the finding that because the expansion is in a continuation of existing parking area, additionally, the Angola Board of Zoning Appeals approved previous pavement rather than hard surface at the April 24th meeting. Number 7, the development plan is or is not compatible with the surrounding uses, buildings, and zoning districts, or is designed to effectively and appropriately buffer and transition to uses, buildings, zoning districts to which it is in conflict.
Yes.
Staff proposes the finding that because this is an expansion of an existing parking area, the slag will match existing material and color, and all setbacks are met with screening of the additional 5 evergreen trees.
Agreed.
And with all of the board's blessing, I would like to combine 8 through 12 again.
I would agree to that. No one else has a problem? Okay, thank you.
The development does comply with all the standards. Or the development plan does satisfy all, once all plan review and routing comments have been adequately addressed.
We will entertain a motion for this petition.
I'll move that we approve the motion as presented. Staff.
I'll second.
There's a motion to approve. There's Earl as a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion has passed. Thank you both for your time and appreciate it. So our last one this evening, I believe, Chris?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay. Next on the agenda is going to be for 4-Star Sharpening, seeking development plan approval. The applicant and owner is Tom Cranston. The location is going to be 2300 Wooler Street. Current zoning is C1, small to medium general commercial district. Hearing date is today's date, May 8th, 2023. Legal notices appeared in the Herald Republican on April 28th. 11 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent certificate of mailings on April 25th. Applicable code is Title 18 of the UDO and Indiana Code Development Plan 36-7-4 1400 series. The project is not located within a floodplain. The staff recommendation is conditional approval. 4-Star Sharpening is planning to relocate to 2300 Ward Street by constructing a new 3,040 square foot facility. The existing lot consists of 1.70 acres zoned to C1 small to medium general commercial district and is currently vacant at the intersection of Hoosier Drive and Woolard Street. Four-star sharpening sharpens a large variety of different items and assembles an assortment of items such as chainsaw chains and saw blades. The floor plan will include a large open shop area, one public and one private restroom facility, office spaces, lobby area, and storage mechanical room. The development will be accessed from both Woolard Street and Hoosier Drive with max width of 20 feet curb cut at the right of way. Public sidewalks currently run along Woolard Street and will be installed east along Hoosier Drive. There is no signage part of this development plan, and landscaping specifications have yet to been submitted. It is noted on the plans that within the east side yard will be a trash receptacle and buffer screening, but details have yet to be submitted. The permitted use is type 3 retail, medium intensity, which requires one parking space per 300 square foot of floor area. Additionally, parking details have yet to be submitted, but staff is expecting to see at least 10 parking spaces designed in this project. Next, we move into site photos. The first is going to be from the southwest corner of the property looking northeast. See some of the vegetation there. Next will be somewhat from the center of the intersection, the T intersection, the northwest corner looking southeast at the lot. And lastly, will be the northeast corner of the property looking southwest towards Woolard Street. As mentioned, the property is zone C1. To the north, you have the awning and sign company and moderate intensity industrial district. To the south, vacant C1 land, the Angola VFW, All Paws and Claws Veterinary Services, and the Kinfeld Group further south. To the east, you have commercial office spaces in Angola Bowl. To the west, you have Kirk Enterprises, an additional moderate intensity industrial district. The comprehensive plan speaks to a handful of objectives. First, principle 1, manage community growth and form. Objective 1.5, strongly encourage redevelopment of underutilized vacant or abandoned structures and lots. Objective 1.7, encourage infill development to direct commercial and residential growth. And principle 3, objective 3.11, add pedestrian infrastructure that supports the bike and pedestrian plan. Excuse me. As of the meeting today, we received one comment from the public from the legal notices being sent. And that was on Wednesday, April 26th. We received an email communication from Tom Armstrong at Awning and Sign, 340 Hoosier Drive, stating, we are across the street from the planned site and would like to extend a heart welcome to the area for his sharpening business. The staff is supportive of the request and is excited to see the development of the site. Excuse me. Four-star sharpening is currently located outside of city limits. We are pleased to have them located within the city limits. There are a few items that need to be addressed. Therefore, staff is recommending conditional approval. The following items to be administratively approved. Number 1, section 18.176.080, the parking standards for non-residential, the quantity and minimum number. And section 18.160.510, the trash receptacle standards, the screening. And lastly, that all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed prior to permits being issued.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board as the petition has been presented from staff? Okay, hearing none. If there's anyone who'd like to speak on behalf of this petition, you're welcome to do so.
Logan Castleman, representing Wagler and Associates, 1211 Woolard Street, Angola. As far as the comments on stuff that is still needing to be resolved, we plan to do this with a revision of our site plan due to timing. There was basically we weren't able to get it done in time. So once that is completed, we will get that out to you guys for approval, so.
I just look, is the way the elevation look like on the back, I guess the south side, is that like open storage across the back? Like, does that run the length of the building?
Open storage.
Well, it looks, I'm looking at the elevation.
There's a lean-to off the south end of the
Yeah,
building.
so behind,
So basically a covered area, so that Tom can sharpen lawnmower blades and that kind of stuff that he doesn't want to necessarily do inside.
so that runs like the length thing, I guess. Looks like.
Yes, yep. So it'd be a covered area there. So.
Does anyone have any questions? And I assume there's, no drainage issues or anything with that site, the way that land is and how
No.
probably a little impact too. So, okay. Thank you. Is there anyone we'll now open this up to public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak for or against this petition? You are welcome to do so. Okay, hearing or seeing no one, we will close that portion. Any remaining questions for the staff? Okay, seeing none, we will get. Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. Oh, the sidewalk, that's interesting. Was there?
The sidewalks? Yeah, they're supposed to, Jennifer's showing, the sidewalk goes in the images you'll see along Willard Street. And then their plans are to put it running from Willard Street, moving east towards Angola Bowl along this property line, along the right of way, if not just on the edge of their property.
I think there's a section south of there that may not connect all the way to it yet, but in there, I think there is on that road though. The
You mean
sidewalk?
on Woolard?
Yeah, on Woolard, it past the,
They're
just
driving.
about up to where the church.
The sidewalk goes all the way to Kidville Group.
Okay.
Yep, all the way down the hard quarter, so on Willard Street,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
on the east side of the road.
Right. Anyone else? Okay. I think we're ready for the findings, please.
Number one, the development plan is or is not consistent with the City of Angola Comprehensive Plan.
It is.
The development plan is consistent with the City of Angola Comprehensive Plan on several accounts. Principle 1, Objective 1.5 and 1.7, plus Principle 3, Objective 3.11. The development plan does or does not cause a hazard or unsafe condition for drivers on the existing or proposed streets or at points of access to the perimeter streets. Staff proposes the finding that because Willard Street and Hoosier Drive were constructed to handle this type of quantity of traffic expected from this type of development leading to moderate industrial zone properties. In addition, the drives meet proper setbacks and separation distance set for a minor collector streets. Number 3, the development plan does or does not cause existing or proposed streets to exceed their capacity or cause traffic congestion. Staff proposes the finding that because Hoosier Drive and Willard Street were constructed to handle this type and quantity of traffic expected for this development. Number 4, the development plan does or does not dedicate the necessary right-of-way for future expansion of the perimeter roads and indicated in the thoroughfare plan. Staff proposes the finding that because Willard Street and Hoosier Drive front this development, which has an existing 70-foot right-of-way and is consistent with the future thoroughfare plan map, since these streets are classified as minor collectors. Number 5, the development plan does or does not create a safe environment for pedestrians to safely move about this development and to connect to perimeter pedestrian facilities. Staff proposes the finding that because the inclusion of the additional public sidewalks adjacent to the right-of-way and the sidewalks along the front facility for patrons entering the building from the parking area. Number 6, the development plan does or does not arrange buildings and structures appropriately for function and aesthetic appeal. Staff proposes the finding that because arrangement with landscaping will buffer parking in the building from adjacent properties.
Agreed.
Number 7, the development plan is or is not compatible with the surrounding uses, buildings, and zoning districts, or is designed to effectively and appropriately buffer or transition those uses, buildings, or zoning districts to which it is in conflict.
Yes.
Staff proposes the finding that because development is compatible with surrounding established and accepted use in addition of ensuring neighborliness and aesthetic quality. And again, lastly, I'd like to include 8 through 12.
I'm okay with that. Okay, no concerns? Okay.
The development plan does or does not satisfy all applicable.
Does.
Staff proposes the finding that once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed.
Great. Okay, we will entertain a motion for this petition.
I'll make a motion as written.
There's a motion to include any outstanding staff comments and revisions. Is that correct, Burl?
Comment.
Okay. There is a motion. Is there a second? Tina will second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion is passed.
So there were no conditions of approval?
There was a motion that would, his motion would be of
Conditions?
of
Okay.
approval. Yes. Okay. That's what I asked him. He said no comment. Okay, so you need to redo it or you want to? I think we're all right. Welcome to the neighborhood. The last, and you welcome to stay or leave, it's fine. The last items of the evening look like to be 2 address items. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Amanda, did you want to talk about these or would you like to? The first one that's up is kind of cleaning up some addressing. So this will be at 1504 North Wayne, which is behind the Domino's Big B Coffee Complex. The blue is 1504 North Wayne, Suite A, which has always been that way. The previous tenant has moved out, so they're looking to sublease these areas, so they want to address it. So this first one will be the orangey red color, 1504 North Wayne, Suite B, and then anticipate those in green will probably come back to this board for future addresses as those get split and rented out.
Thank you. Does anyone like to make a motion on behalf of this address change?
I make a motion to approve the address change.
There is a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Nick seconds. Is there, all those in favor of the motion is signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion for the address change has passed. And then the second one, please.
The second one is out, will be the future site of Bell Tire. It's where Swimcraft was. Bell Tire will be situated so that their main entrance is off of North Wayne and their front door will be off of North Wayne. So that will be switched to a North Wayne address of 3050.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
There's a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Gerald second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion has passed. Is there any other business this evening, Jennifer or Brett?
Just a reminder that we do have a meeting on Monday. It's just one case, so a week from today at 5:00. And we do have a meeting next month, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved, second. Second, all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.